Infrastructure.
Infrastructure. Everyone from governments to aid organizations talks about investing in it, how critical it is. And they're right. In a word, it's almost everything around us. The roads we drive on, internet you're using to watch this video, even concepts like childcare that allow our families and economies to function. But often, we don't talk enough about some of our most important infrastructure, the buildings we call home. Where we live, where we sleep, where we learn and work and eat and spend time with our loved ones, where we try to stay cool in the summer and warm in winter, and where we shelter in place when there's a pandemic. When it comes to infrastructure investments, we need to start with housing. This is why our team at the Global Program for Resilient Housing has been working with government agencies and organizations around the world to find people without safe, stable housing and to help strengthen and improve their homes before it's too late. The key word here is before. Our goal is to not just build back better after disasters or pandemics occur, but to build better before these crises. Because for the 1 billion people living in inadequate housing, building better housing infrastructure before it's too late makes all the difference. Our comprehensive approach uses technology to identify types of homes to rehabilitate, policy to channel aid to those who need it most, and private sector participation so companies can create jobs and maximize the opportunities around resilient housing. Housing is public health and education infrastructure. Outcomes from poor housing include poor physical and mental health, worse education, and even lifetime earnings diminished, all of which further deepens inequalities. One World Bank study of the Piso Ferme program in Mexico showed that investments in new concrete floors for families resulted in improvements in both physical and mental health. And when 1 in 6 people in the world lack access to sanitary, safe water, our approach helps identify and address areas without adequate plumbing. Housing is social justice infrastructure. From refugees to BIPOC communities, victims of gender-based violence, and others, we can help governments identify those who are most likely to face disparities, redlining, and discrimination, and those who will benefit the most from this assistance. Housing is accessibility infrastructure. Housing needs to be the first place where the differently abled can freely live their lives. Like for this family in Colombia, where new ramps and plumbing have meant new independence. Housing is climate infrastructure. Buildings constitute about 40% of the world's energy use and greenhouse gas emissions. Green retrofits are essential for meeting global carbon goals while training the next generation of carpenters and masons in energy-efficient practices. Housing is economic and community development infrastructure. Where we live is more than just an address. It's where we're from. It's how families develop credit, keep a job, and generally have stability. And every dollar spent on housing improvements saves $10. Money that we can then invest in new projects instead of constantly rebuilding. But for us, this isn't just about saving money or smart investments. Housing matters because it is life-saving infrastructure. Hurricanes, earthquakes, and climate events, all of them, can take hundreds of thousands of lives and destroy countless homes in just seconds. When disaster strikes, more resilient homes means countless families are better prepared to survive, and governments can focus their emergency response faster. Home is not just where the heart is, it is where all of our efforts to build a better world need to start. And that's why we at the Global Program for Resilient Housing want to help governments not just build back better, but build better before, by starting with housing.